If you do not have the IIT or the IIM tag, does it mean your career is over? The answer is a profound no. But there are a few things you need to do to actually get a career which is equivalent to someone who passes out from an IIT or an IIM. The reason I can talk about this video is because I don't come from an IIT, but I come from an IIM. So I know life on both sides of the table when you have that tag and when you do not have that tag. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 things you need to do if you do not have that IIT IIM tag to ensure your career is as successful, if not more, as someone who comes from that IIT IIM institute. Before we get started, why don't you subscribe to the channel? Now, the first thing you have to understand before we start is what is the real value of that IIT or IIM tag? It's not so much the quality of education. A lot of people believe it's the quality of education, the brand, or the alumni. All of that is there. But the single biggest achievement of that tag is you are signaling to a future recruiter or a future boss that you have gone past a very difficult examination, which means at that point of life, you were very smart and you were very, very hardworking. That's the biggest thing that IIT or IIM tag gives you. So, what are the 5 things you need to do to ensure your career comes back and is better than someone who probably has those tags? The first principle is in terms of working on your mindset. I know a lot of people who have the mindset that they think they are inferior to someone who comes from an IIT or an IIM, and that's not totally true. Even if you analyze all the people who come from an IIT or an IIM, it's only 5 to 8% of them who go on to be very, very successful, and the rest 90% have good careers but in line with a lot of people who do not have that IIT-IIM tag. So what's the difference? The difference is actually very simple. It's not rocket science. The 5 to 8% of people who pass out just work very, very hard every day of their life. They work hard, they work on themselves, and they do it every day for a period of 20 years. That's why they are so successful. There are so many cases of people who study very hard to get into an IIT or an IIM, but after that, they just lose all focus and all energy, and their careers absolutely go wayward. So, the first thing you should remember is not feel inferior just because someone else has that tag and you don't have that tag. The second principle you should look at is to get a branded institute on your resume. It does add a little value because it gives you that benefit of having been selected from a larger bunch. So places you can add a good institute are places outside India. You can explore universities in Canada, in Australia, in Southeast Asia. A lot of very good universities to study are there. In case you are in India and have 5 to 8 years of work ex and in the world of business, you can consider the executive programs at IIMs. They do give you some of the proxy benefit that comes from that typical IIM tag. A lot of people ask me, what about the courses? A lot of edtech companies have courses with institutes and how valuable they are. As a recruiter, and I've done recruiting for many, many years, I've done it for 10 years, we actually don't give it too much value because it's anybody can sign up for it. You're not selected from a large bunch. So while it might have value in terms of the quality of the curriculum, but the sheer value of a degree which comes from the selection that you've had is not really there. The third principle, and it sounds like motherhood and very simple, but if you do it every day, you will fall in that 8% of IIT IIM graduates who do extremely well. It's about everyday learning. Now, everyday learning is not about reading a very fancy book or attending a very difficult lecture. It is very, very simple. Just do these 3 things every day for the rest of the next 20 years. One, read a business newspaper every day for an hour and a half from today for the next 20 years. Pick up 3 podcasts, 3 good international podcasts, and just listen to them for 25 minutes every day for the next 10 years of your life, and just follow 2 to 3 good influencers on LinkedIn and see how their lives are evolving. You'll get a lot of ideas from them in terms of how to improve. If you just do these 3 things every day, your capability is bound to excel exponentially over a period of time. The fourth principle is in terms of building a personal brand, and I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're working in a company, what are you really known for, and how do you convey what you're really known for? One way is to actually teach at colleges or business schools. Whatever is your core skill set, become a guest faculty and just go and teach there. Nothing conveys credibility when you teach. The second way in your company is to present at various forums inside the company, in the town halls, in the monthly meets, or outside the company. When you present your core skill set again and again, you're automatically seen as an expert and you become a personal brand. Never underestimate the power of LinkedIn. So if some of you are not active on LinkedIn, please get active on LinkedIn. Reach out to people whom you're interested in, build your connections, post regularly, once a week, once a fortnight, about your experiences, about your anecdotes in life, about your key learnings, about the books you read, about the movies you like. Post about all of this and build a personal brand on LinkedIn. If you cannot market yourself on LinkedIn, the world will not market you for yourself. The fifth principle, and the most important principle, is you have to trust time. You have to give your career 10 years. It typically takes 10 years for careers to fall in place. And at the end of 10 years, most people land up at the same point. The few things you should be careful about is, even if it takes 10 years, every 6 months you should evaluate where you are. And you should not be hesitant to take a change in terms of a different role, change in terms of a different geography, or change in terms of even a different type of company. Because often in your careers, the biggest breaks will come when you make that change to a different geography or a different role or a different company. Staying in one place for 10 years typically, generally does not give you that disproportionate benefit. So here are 5 principles which you can employ so that you have a career better than someone who comes from an IIT or IIM. If you like this video, do subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care.